Hey Pat,
You know, you
good.
know what?
How's
You
it
can, if
going?
you want to, you can shut off the recording until everybody's on, and I'll tell you to record it. It's up to
Um, I mean, I could
you.
if
I
there's
mean,
going to be
you can.
sidebar conversation.
Yeah, just remember anything you're saying is recorded as we invite people in. We'll just tell them so they don't.
Right. I mean, I don't have a problem with recording it. I'm not going to say anything.
No, no, I just want we'll just let people because
Yeah.
usually I say before we start recording that it's being recorded. So just as we let people in, I'll just let them know right away.
I'm going to let the board members in as I see them appear on the sidebar here. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I'm admitting Dan Greenberg.
He was actually headed to the town hall.
Is he?
He
Hmm.
was, yeah, yeah, but
No.
he.
So we have Dan Greenberg with us. Hi, Dan. And Tom Pratty is in the waiting room. I'm going to add him.
Hi guys.
Yeah. Hey Dan, just so you know, what she already has the recording on, so just so you're aware of that.
Hi, Tom.
No problem at all.
Rec
Same thing.
we're,
Recording
we're,
is already on, Tom. You're on mute, Tom, which is fine for now. But
we can't hear you because you're on mute. But yeah, the meeting's being recorded initially. Did you see a message when you logged in that the meeting was being recorded?
yeah,
No,
it said yeah.
I didn't see it, but I was
Oh, it
already
doesn't
on.
default to say the meeting's being recorded? Oh, okay. Just curious. I've never done this before, so my days of helping with meetings were long before Zoom.
Yeah, but I think
Those were mine.
I think the plan is we'll do one more Zoom and then we'll go in person after that.
Not a
Right.
combination, strictly Zoom, strictly in person.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Oh, cool.
Okay, I'm looking for Mike, so I don't
Yeah,
see
Chris John Fabrowski is another one that will be
print
joining.
with the agenda. Is is there somebody who's not going to be here tonight, Pat? Did you know
I'm
of?
not sure. Michael, so the other ones that would be here would be Michael McDonald.
Yep.
If you see him in the waiting room, Chris John Fabrowski.
Chris John Fabrowski.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I see him.
you
I'll
can
get
let him
him
in.
in here. Welcome, Chris John Fabrowski. This meeting is being recorded as we speak.
Hey,
Just to let
KJ, the
you,
recording's
just to
already
let you
on,
know.
so
Is Dan going to be here tonight?
the Amazon, yeah.
He is on. Okay.
He's here. Okay, Chris
Well,
and
then I'd expect Mr. Solari, obviously Jane, and then Mr. Tansy,
yep.
right?
Greg Tanzi's in the waiting room, not letting him in. Larry Silver's in
Yeah,
the,
you can let Greg Tansy in. He's the town engineer.
okay, admit him. Mr. Tanzi, Greg,
How you doing,
Greg,
Jane?
good.
Can you hear me
So
okay?
the meeting's being recorded, just to
So
let you
she
know.
already has the recording on, so just so you know.
Okay.
It just defaulted to that when I set up the meeting, so not really sure how to turn it on and off, but welcome.
Welcome.
Is
I'm
Steve going
just
to be here,
so
Pat?
Steve is here. I'll
Oh,
admit
yes. Okay,
him.
I didn't see him.
Steve's our new town planner, so.
Welcome, Mr. Solari. The meeting's being recorded already, Steve, just so you know.
Too soon.
It's all good. So let's see.
Jane,
Eric
if you
Carr.
want, just so there's not 8 minutes of the recording that is just dead
Well,
air on the
okay.
you can shut the
Oh, I
recording.
see where it is. Okay, okay, admit all, admitting all. Participants 10, now 12. Okay. Everybody's here. Everybody came in.
Okay.
Pat, the meeting's yours.
All right, and just so I'm on the same page. No Michael McDonald yet, correct?
No.
And no Mr. Geller, correct?
I don't see either.
Jane, you're on mute.
Okay.
Right.
All right, and Jane, you
I'm
started.
saying yes to no.
All
No,
right, and you
those
said,
gentlemen are
and
not there.
Jane, you started the recording, right?
The meeting is being recorded, yes.
Okay, all right. All right, so um being Wednesday, July 15th at
Oh,
6:30. What's that, Jane?
Sorry, I'm gonna let Steve LaBelle in. Is that okay?
Yeah, let everybody in.
You let everybody in,
He
Jane.
just
Let
popped
everybody
in.
Yeah.
He
You
just
don't need to
popped
say, you don't need to tell anybody. You just let them in.
Yeah,
Okay, so if people show up, just let them in.
Let them in.
you
Yep.
got it. All right.
Okay, I won't talk anymore.
All right, thank you, Jane. And thanks, everybody. We're transitioning between Mr. O'Brien leaving and Mr. Solari and Mrs. Brown helping us out. So being Wednesday, July 15th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. I'll call the Bridgewater Planning Board to order. Item 1. I'll just read the following quickly. This meeting of the Bridgewater Planning
What?
Board will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest
Obviously, I'm
extent
in the
possible.
middle of a meeting, a Zoom meeting. What's going on? Okay, see you. Bye.
No in-person attendance of the members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time. This meeting is being recorded, and within 48 hours, we'll post a link of the recording on the town's website and social media pages. The following Bridgewater Planning Board members are here this evening remotely. I'm Patrick Driscoll, the chair, Mr. Thomas Pratty, Mr. Dan Greenberg, and Mr. Chris John Fabrowski. During this meeting, we'll take all the votes as roll calls because it's remote. And with us this evening for town staff, we have Mr. Stephen Solari, the building commissioner, and now the town planner. Mr. Greg Tansey, the town engineer, and Mrs. Jane Brown is our host this evening and helping us navigate the Zoom. At this point, everybody's mics are muted. The board's mics will be unmuted through the whole meeting. And as items appear on the agenda, the project's representatives' mics will be unmuted. If the project is a public hearing and allows for public comment, we ask that you use the chat feature to ask your question by listing your name, your address, and your question. The chair or the host, who's Mrs. Brown this evening, she'll assist with recognizing questions in order. You can use the raise my hand feature in the participant menu, and you'll be unmuted when the chair or the host recognizes you. Again, please state your name and your address before asking a question. And if you're on the phone, you can dial *9 to raise your hand. So just a couple of things. We just appreciate everybody's patience tonight because this is a transition. Mr. O'Brien is no longer the town planner. So Mr. Solari and Mrs. Brown are helping us out. So we're going to ask everybody that is going to present or that wants to present we'll offer to share the screen and you can put your own documents up. I think it'll be one more meeting Zoom and then we'll probably resume back in person going forward. All right, so item 1, we have a definitive subdivision plan. This is continued from our June meeting. This is 548 South Street, map 61, lot 121. This is a subdivision. This is a subdivision approval for a 4-lot subdivision with requested waivers. This was continued. It started March 18th, but I think it was continued from our June 15th meeting. So we still do have the public hearing open. We did go through most of the site plan. We did receive revised plans from the applicant. And we did receive, which we can talk about in public comment. We did receive some public comment Wednesday, June 17th. Excuse me. So this meeting's being continued from June 17th. We did receive correspondence on June 17th prior to our last meeting that we'll also address in this meeting. So if the applicant's here, we can go over outstanding items and board questions, and then we can open it up to the public for public comment.
Good evening, Larry Silva from Silver Engineering. If you recall at our last meeting, we pretty much had addressed everything that had been asked, and we had addressed all comments from staff. And we were asking for the board to actually close the hearing at that time, and actually we were looking for a positive vote. The most recent comment that was addressed at the time related to drainage, and the question had come up whether or not the drainage basin that was on Lot 3 was related to the subdivision or not. And as you recall, the answer to that was that it was not. It's related to the development of Lot 3, and it may or may not occur in the way that we've shown it on the plan. They may opt to do chambers on the site in order to not have a basin, but it is not related to the subdivision approval that we're asking for this evening. The other issue that was discussed at the last meeting that we did have was regarding the intersection, and the thought that we needed to have a waiver for this roadway because of its alignment with South Drive. I suggest to you that even though we have included waiver requests, we don't believe that we need waiver requests at all. And for that particular one, I want to do a couple of things. I want to tell you that from a point of view of the regulation was that showed the 125 foot is related to the proximity to another street on the same roadway. It's not to do with alignment of a road that's across the way. It is basically so that the frequency of streets on a subcollector like South Street are not so frequent that the rate of speed on the roadway would be a problem, and that the turning movements in and out of the streets would be problematic. I actually testified in land court on behalf of the town back in, I think it was in 2007, regarding that specific issue. And it had to do with a subdivision that was closer than what the regulation showed. And it was really more about line of sight in that case, but the whole issue about what the 125 foot meant was part of the testimony at that time. And I can get into that if you want, but basically that's what it was about. It was about 125 foot separation between one roadway and another roadway planned further up or down that same street. And as the regulation shows, it's 250 feet on roadways that have a greater speed, ones that are more arterial and so forth. So that was the issue. Now, I did want to also suggest to you that when you talk about being in alignment with a roadway across, our feeling and our contention is that we are aligned with South Drive. Okay, the center lines are not zero center lines, but we're talking about a roadway difference between South Drive, which is a wider pavement area than this small 4-lot subdivision. And I can show you in an illustration. I don't know if Rebecca, if you could put up an illustration which shows if you were sitting on South Drive, just so that you can get a good perspective of what we're talking about here. I'm waiting for her to actually share. I could sing, but I don't think you guys want that.
One moment, almost there.
Okay, so if you're at South Drive and you look across, there's your road. So I mean, my position is that this is an intersection, and the roadway is across from the current roadway that's there at South Drive. I don't see any issue with that alignment whatsoever. And I think that this is the best illustration that shows you what it really looks like. I can show you other examples in the town that that might that you frequent, I'm sure, and you don't even give it a thought. One that comes to mind is, I don't know if you can put that up there, but the one at where Birch Street meets Village Gate Drive, I think is one of them. Yeah, so you see Birch Street, Village Gate Drive. I mean, that's more offset than this is, and people just travel across from one to the other. What's the next one that we were looking at there? We looked at this one here was Cottage Street. You come up Cottage Street, South Meadow Drive was done, I don't know how many years ago that was, maybe 15, 20 years ago. But its alignment with Cottage Street is not 100% offset. It's pretty close, but it's similar to what we're talking about. And those two have obviously more traffic to handle there between South Drive and Cottage itself, never mind bringing in South Meadow. And then the other one that I just wanted to show you was here's one that was Mary Ann Drive and Bryan Road. And look at that offset. That's on South Street. And that one there is the two roads that they're not traffic going between them. They're both coming into South Street. They have good line of sight to one another, and it's not a problem. It's just that's the way it is. So my contention is that 125-foot rule was not related to this kind of situation. It has to do with the frequency of roadways along a roadway and along a sub-collector, basically. And so I don't believe that we need a waiver. If you think that if the board believes that it has to be taken up as a waiver vote, then I wouldn't stand in the way of it if it's something as a formality. But I don't think it's anything that what we're proposing here is contentious at all. And going back to that Google illustration of it, I can't see how anyone can look at this and not see that these roads are across from one another. So with that, that's the only other input that I wanted to enter on that. And basically, I think that we've done everything that we can, everything that's been asked of us. We eliminated those two driveways that you see in this illustration on the existing house. And I'm really looking for the board to close the public hearing tonight and issue an approval for this. I don't see that there's any reason why it should not be. There are all the house lots except for the existing house are on wells and septics. So it doesn't play into any kind of issue that the town is going through with the moratorium. And I don't see any reason why this subdivision cannot go forward at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Larry, I have a couple. Rebecca, can you bring up the most updated plan set? I just want to go through and just get clarification on a couple of things.
Of course. Is there a certain page you'd like to see?
Or if you can start with page 1, I want to start with page 1.
Okay. You got it?
No, for the front page. The
Cover
first.
page. Got it. Got it. Okay.
Well, one of the pages you had the nitrogen loading calcs on. Where is that page? I thought it was page 1.
It's actually page 3.
Okay, can you blow that up? So we've gotten a number of letters, most recently the one June 17th regarding the zone 2 and the water quality and everything else in that area, which I'm concerned about as well, right? So can you explain to me, so I just after getting those letters and just before the last meeting, June, I thought we were going to meet in June, I pulled up the Title V regs just to try to better understand it. So how do you plan on, so from what I understand and looking at the DEP regs and the way I always understood it was that if each lot, so what they refer to was a nitrogen aggregation subdivision plan, right? So it says DEP recommends a nitrogen aggregation subdivision plan be submitted. And I asked this question before, about restrictions on each lot. So you're showing that there can be 12 bedrooms total on the lots, but one of the lots, lot 4, already has sewer. Is that correct?
Yep.
So the remaining 3 lots will have the 12 bedrooms, correct? Or up-
Yes, and they will use some of the excess of the land that's there. They're actually the lot 1 can still contribute to it not being a nitrogen loading issue.
So all 4 lots will have a nitrogen loading restriction on them, correct?
yes.
So, and I'm just
And there's
trying
ways
to-
around that also, just to keep in mind
well, it
that
says it says you can
there's
use
other ways to approach it.
an AI system as well, correct?
That's right. You can do a reduction system, and those aren't that costly to do. So it could be that they may choose to do that, but all those things are really that's a Board of Health issue when you go to develop the lots themselves.
Well, so it says DEP recommends it says DEP recommends that a nitrogen aggregation subdivision plan be submitted to the Board of Health during the design phase and prior to the planning board approval. It says, so I guess my question is that if we were to condition this, right? These lots that have roughly 20,000 square feet, they need, there's an addition, if you want to do 4-bedroom houses on there needs to be an additional acre somewhere, right? So how are you gonna, so is the credit land is gonna remain inside the neighborhood, inside the
Yes.
subdivision?
Yes.
But there's restrictions to what can be on the credit land. So can the credit land be part of lot 3?
Yeah. The only thing you can't use for credit land is it's FEMA land, right?
Pavement,
But I guess,
Mhm.
so lot 3 is going to have restrictions on it where it can't have one. So basically 1 acre of lot 3 is going to have restrictions on it where it can't be disturbed and it can't have pavement on it and things of that nature. Am I understanding that correctly?
No, not exactly. I'm trying to look it up right now.
And in the past, I'm wondering, and then it talked about when I was looking at the issue of the private wells, it said that it also talked about it says areas subject to nitrogen aggregation are the same areas subject to nitrogen loading limitation of 440 gallons per day design flow per acre. And it talks about nitrogen sensitive areas, which is zone 2, and then it talks about areas of residential new construction as defined in Title 5, where both on-site systems and on-site drinking water supplies are proposed. So I guess my question is, and I asked this before, do you need 10,000 square feet per bedroom per lot once you put a well on it?
I don't understand. The nitrogen loading issue is not related to your water withdrawal. It has to do with its proximity to the aquifer, the town's aquifer. So I don't understand what the well on the site has
Well,
to do.
so all 4 of these lots, you're gonna do a nitrogen loading plan or an alternative design for all 4 of these lots, correct?
Right.
And you're pretty sure that lot 3 will not have to be modified to have the credit land housed on that lot?
That it would have to have what?
So where would the credit land be?
The community itself is going to aggregate together in that aggregation plan.
Yeah.
And some of the restrictions are simply don't fertilize or the pavement doesn't count, which is why the road isn't counted into the calculation. But the whole aggregate of the whole sum of all 4 lots will work in conjunction with each other. So whatever restrictions.
And you're gonna, and so just because I want to make sure that if we go forward with this tonight, we get the condition right. So there needs to be a nitrogen loading plan for the entire site, correct?
Yes.
And I guess, and I guess the confusing part to me was I always thought that, and I guess I'm wrong. I always thought that each lot had to have the the 10,000 square feet, or you needed credit land somewhere else. And one of the examples they give though is it talks about a developer wanting to build. It says developer has to build. It says an example: developer has 42 acres in a zone 2. The usual subdivision in this town could support 36 1-acre lots with 4-bedroom homes. However, there are 6 acres of roads. To meet the 444 gallon per day rule, however, the developer proposes to aggregate with the cluster subdivision allowed under local zoning and do half-acre lots. So basically what they're saying, the applicant proposes 36 homes, each on a half-acre, on a total of 18 acres. To meet the 440 per acre equivalency, the applicant must set aside land area of 18 acres. So there's no
Well,
land being set aside, is that correct?
Well, what is being set aside, it's being restricted. When they say set aside, they mean that it's having a restriction on
Yeah,
it.
conservation nitrogen loading restriction.
Yeah,
right?
and that's what we're doing.
And that can just be part of lots 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, it's going to be part of 4 because 4 has excess land that can contribute. But Rebecca was saying, what, we don't need the land from the 4 to do it?
No, we need all 4. I'm sorry, we do
We need all 4. So we need the land from 4, but 4, because 4 doesn't take away, because it's connected to sewer, but it has land that can place a restriction on it that helps the other 3 lots.
Okay. So the total the total number of bedrooms on lots 1, 2, and 3 cannot exceed 12.
Not unless further denitrification was proposed, which would cause more Board of Health approval process.
And I know, until we get these letters and stuff, because I learned something. I mean, we really should have, in the future, when we have stuff coming in zone 2 and whoever the planner is, we should be requesting that a nitrogen aggregation plan be submitted prior to coming to us. But, all right. So next, while you're on the screen, can you go up a little bit, Rebecca? Because I have a drainage question. So Larry, you said, and Greg, do you agree with Larry's assessment that the drainage basin and drainage easement E is not part of the subdivision drainage calcs? Greg?
Greg, you're muted.
Sorry about that. So I reviewed the drainage calculations, and in order to meet the pre and post BMP standard 2 runoff condition, the basin on lot 3 needs to be built. Otherwise, the 2 and the 100-year storms aren't mitigated. So, and the basin on lot 3 is part of the subdivision's hydraulic analysis. So I have to say that basin on lot 3 is needed in order to meet the pre and post development mitigation standards, which is BMP standard 2.
If lot 3 is not developed, does that basin still have to be constructed or no?
Well, the applicant would have to demonstrate calculations to demonstrate that the vacant land on lot 3, when you do the analysis, it doesn't result in an increase in post-development peak rates discharging off site. Because lot 3, if it's not developed, it's not going to have the impervious area as a developed lot would, but there's also not a detention basin going to be there. So will the undeveloped land absorb enough runoff so that the standard is met, or will it, will it not? We don't know until we have the calcs done.
Rebecca, you
So-
want to address that?
Well, a cursory review based on this design and this house, and what I can remember from the drainage is what little bits aren't going into the drainage basin already, I don't think would trip the pre to post. But unfortunately, like Greg said, unless I run that scenario where we remove the driveway and tie everything up with the grades, I really don't have 100% on that. We might have a little bit of a swale that we could introduce on this lot to offset it. It wouldn't be a huge event that, we would have to create another large basin. It would be a small little depression we may have to do on one of the lots just to offset the little bit that we may encounter. Again, unless we're looking at that scenario directly, it's tough I can only assume we would be just under those numbers or at those numbers.
But just so I understand, it is part of the subdivision drainage and it would have to be maintained by the HOA, correct?
I don't believe that was the case.
Well, so the reason I ask is there's an easement that we asked for, Mr. Tanzi asked for. But I'm trying to better understand how the easement does anything because there's no access from, how do you get, the easement we need access to, right? You need an easement over the driveway. I mean, how is that basin going to be maintained with no easement access?
Homeowner of lot 3 would be required to maintain it?
Well,
But is it
but you're going under that's going under the understanding that it's required for the subdivision, but I thought we were at the point where we were saying it was not required for the subdivision.
Well,
I mean, I know that Greg is saying he thinks it is,
That's
but-
what I'm still trying to understand because I asked the question last time and I've got two different, it seems like we have two different answers now. Mr. Tanzi's saying, Greg, you're saying lot 3, the basin on lot 3 is required for the subdivision the way it's calculated, correct?
Correct.
So we just got to show you the calculations that show you that it's not required for that. I mean, that's basically what you're asking us to provide you.
Well, I think if it is a
Adjusted
subdivision,
calculation.
I think if it is a subdivision drainage basin, there needs to be access to it to maintain it and whatnot. I don't understand. I know we asked for an easement, but I don't understand what that easement achieves because you can't get to it. Or why even have the easement there?
I guess I'm not in the agreement that it's actually needed. I think that we have to demonstrate that it's not needed. Is what you're saying, that the calculations as we have them now, Rebecca, don't take that scenario out of it?
Well, here's what I'm listening to. I'm listening to a subdivision is being defined as all the lots. Okay. So by definition of each lot, 1, 2, 3, and 4, that basin on 3 is required to meet the pre, which is all 4, and the post, which is all 4. I need that basin to make the numbers go down for the whole thing. All right, so as a subdivision of 4 lots, a basin on 3 is required. And I believe that's what Mr. Tanzi is trying to emphasize as well. It's needed to meet the pre and post for the lots. If lot 3 is not developed, the basin on lot 3 would not be required because it's really just functioning to control the runoff on lot 3.
The additional runoff related to lot 3.
Correct. So where it's tied to the subdivision's pre and post calculations, yes, Mr. Tanzi's accurate in saying it's needed for the subdivision.
So it's really not taking any drainage from the roadway of Basin A or Basin B. It's basically
Correct.
taking the driveway, the riprap, and it's going into Lot 3 drainage basin, correct?
Right.
Correct. It does not need to be built at the time of the roadway. It's not needed until lot 3 itself is developed. And in that case, that's where you get to modify or, tweak the layout. To me, even the easement is a little premature because we don't know what it's gonna look like. It could be underground.
Those could be in chambers, I mean, for that matter. You know what I mean?
But that's part of the drainage analysis, so that would have to come back for Greg's review or a modification, is that correct?
Well, when lot 3 would be developed, yeah.
And it also has to go through conservation, so they would have a chance to review it for those requirements as well.
Okay. So can you go to the easement page where you have the drainage easements shown? So just looking at the updated plans. So I know the trees were in and the trees were out. Now the trees are back in. Can you go to
Oh,
so
you want-
you show a 20-foot drainage easement there, and then we've had issues where we've had lots conveyed out and things like that. You're showing trees in that drainage easement as well, correct?
now,
Outside of the layout?
let me skip to the page that shows the trees. There are trees just outside that layout.
So we'd have to change that to drainage and tree planting easement. Correct? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, or move them out of the drainage easement, I suppose. That would be an option. but
Rebecca, we can hardly hear you. At least I can.
yes, we could move them, or we could relabel it.
I mean, it's up to you if you move them or you add tree planting easement there as well.
I think we would just change the title on it so that it includes both. I think pushing the trees back would not really achieve what you're looking to try to have those trees do.
So Greg, just the other what Larry referred to as the alignment of streets. Do you agree with his assessment on that alignment, that it doesn't require a waiver, it doesn't require a waiver?
Well, I mean, he did show a lot of alignments throughout town that are very similar to this alignment. I'm not sure whether waivers were required for those alignments or not. I suppose the board may want to be consistent in that area unless
some of the subdivisions were in the 70s and the 80s though. So I mean,
okay,
I don't
so
know
maybe
I don't know what the rules and regs were back then. So
yeah. So
I mean, I haven't got a problem if you include it as a waiver, but I'm just saying from a practical point of view, I don't think you're waiving really anything because they really are across from one another.
yeah, I'll stop asking questions for the time being. And other board members, questions, concerns?
I have one question. When this plan gets finalized, is lot 3 going to be listed as an unbuildable lot?
It wouldn't be listed as
Technically-
an unbuildable lot, but it would require more permitting in order for it to be buildable.
Right, but as far as for this process that we're doing here, it should be listed as unbuildable
What justification?
Why would that be?
because of just all the information on the drainage basin and the requirements that would need it to build a lot. Right now, it's unbuildable.
I'm afraid I don't follow. Is there,
I don't think they'd have to list it as unbuildable, Steve. I think they just have to meet all the requirements.
Yeah.
When they decide to build it.
we have this note, is that kind of what you're thinking? That the individual lots would require their own site plan submittals?
No.
No, okay.
Because it meets frontage and area, right?
Yeah. it has to jump through more hoops, Steve. I mean, because
Yeah, I know. You know what? As I've been the building inspector here 10 years, when things get past like 5, 7, 8 years, um, as we've seen with all the court cases we've had to deal with, that's why I just want to make sure that it's pretty well listed of what the issues are. So,
Yeah, and I just think like, and I look back at some approvals we've had in a zone two that, I mean, they haven't been developed yet, but I'm glad this came up because they're gonna have to either have alternative systems or they're gonna have to figure out a way to mitigate the nitrogen. I mean, I think this is really important now, especially with the quality of the wells and stuff we have in town. So I just I think, one of the big concerns I have is that we get a nitrogen loading restriction on all these lots.
you keep in mind though, Pat, that when you look at those individual lots, I mean, if a lot has 30,000 square feet, it's entitled to 3-bedroom design without that
Correct. Yeah.
without that. And even if it was under 30,000 square foot in area, it's entitled to a 2-bedroom permit, but it has to have a deed restriction placed on it because under the regs, when you go down to 2, you have to actually put it in the deed that it's restricted to 2.
And if I can add to that nitrogen issue, I'm looking at the aggregation policy that they have, the guideline. And what they limit you to do on a nitrogen loading restriction is limit the use of man-made sources of nitrogen, such as wastewater discharges. So we have to limit the septic, and that's why we're cleaning it. Nitrogen-based fertilizers, those are out. The raising and grazing of livestock, it's probably not going to happen here. The introduction of artificially rendered impervious surfaces, which is why pavement is excluded from all the calculations, and the creation of land underwater, which is why lakes and ponds are not used for credit land. So
Yeah,
those are the
so what you're referring to though, are the restrictions on credit land.
those are the restrictions that nitrogen loading restriction plan is going to require to be written in the deed. So those are the activities. It's not saying you can't have a house. It's just saying you can't use a fertilizer. You can't be having your cows go and poop on the lawn.
Yeah, and I think you can use fertilizer. I think it's just fertilizer that's not approved or whatever. or
Right,
restricted.
nitrogen-based fertilizers, correct. So the limitations aren't so far-fetched that it doesn't apply here.
Okay. Other board member comments?
Yeah, so you guys did open up the mouth, abutting to South Street.
Larry, did you?
When you say opened it up,
So
we had
talked
discussion about having it wider. We showed it at that
Right.
hearing. It's not shown on this plan.
Okay.
So if you wanted to make a condition that radius be increased in the the record plan, then it could be increased. I don't think it does a lot, Chris, but
Yeah.
I mean, we're not against it.
Well, I just think it would make it. I have to tell you, like, so you were meeting the criterias of what is allowed now with the 15-foot road. I do think later, going forward, it would be in the town's best interest maybe to relook at whether these should be approved or not. But as of now, this does meet it. I think it would help getting in and out on South Street. I don't know, Pat, can we possibly release, or vote on the 1 and 2 with just holding back on the 3 until they make their adjustments on calculations, or would it have to be all done together?
Well, so you're asking if we can approve 2 lots and not 3?
Correct. Until they bring back the drainage calcs and what they need for the third. Because the rest of it, I mean, it meets
Okay.
what's allowed
I
at this
appreciate you
point.
calling and listening. That's all I need you to do, by the way. I don't need to fix anything because
Tom, you might want to mute yourself temporarily.
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
Well, we can talk about, let's just get questions out of the way, and then we'll talk about.
All right.
I just think that, and if it meets the criteria, it meets the criteria, and we can talk about it. But I just think that from a nitrogen loading standpoint, from, needing credit land from having private wells back there and everything else. I just think it would be a much nicer setup if the lots 1 and 2 were spread out more and there wasn't a lot 3. But I mean, I think that lot 3 is.
But you understand the economics of these small subdivisions. They're not, they're not as easy as maybe they were once thought they would be. They still cost a lot for a roadway construction and infrastructure, and to have it doing all that work for just the 2 lots in the back it doesn't work financially. You need the 3rd one to make it worthwhile to do it. And even that one has a lot of work to be done with it.
Are there any other board questions or comments? Dan, Tom? No?
I have none at this time.
All right. So Jane, are you still with us? Jane?
I'm here.
All right,
Yep.
so we'll open it up for public comment now. And again, I will just note for the record that on June 17th, the newest piece of correspondence we received was an email from Mrs. Elise Burden that was sent to Mr. O'Brien on June 17th, and that was circulated to the board, so everybody does have that. And but if there is anybody here from the public that wishes to speak, or please just raise your hand or virtual hand or real hand, and we'll try to address you. So Jane, it looks like we have a Mrs. LaFever raising her hand.
Is she? Okay.
Can you unmute yourself, Mrs. LaFever?
Hang on, Carol. Okay.
Yes.
Welcome,
Good evening. Hi, Jane.
Carol. Hi.
You're everywhere.
Just trying to help.
I have a few questions. You keep on going around on lot 3, but that has to pass conservation's approval before it even can be considered buildable, correct?
So Larry, you don't have any conservation approvals yet, correct?
I do not.
So but tonight it sounds as if the condition for approving the plan, it has to include lot 3. So are you putting the cart before the horse? Or am I misunderstanding what's being?
Well, if we did approve anything tonight, it would be subject to that lot could not be built upon until it received the necessary permits from Concom. If Concom denied it or modified it, then it would not be buildable if they didn't approve it.
But are you conditioning the approval of lots 1 and 2 on the condition that lot 3 gets approved?
We haven't discussed any conditions or any approval yet. This is still just the public hearing part of it.
All right, then I'll go back to what my original questions were going to be. There's large trees at the property line, pretty much, and the roadway, that 15-foot wide roadway, appears to be right up against those trees.
Rebecca, could you bring that plan up? We asked, Mr. O'Brien asked you to identify and do like a tree. Actually, in one of his comment letters, he talks about a tree preservation plan, which I think you provided. Could you bring that up?
Of course. Okay. On the screen, we have.
Not ones that you're planning on adding.
No, right here on the edge, these dark circles. these dark circles are the large trees. They don't show the canopy. It doesn't give it as much justice as the canopy is, but this is a 24, an 18, a 24, a 36, a 36. They're very large trees.
Yes, they are.
They're right along the edge. There's the plan for clearing was modified to really focus on clearing the brush and the underbrush and not the trees. The trees are to remain.
All right, but the very large trees have very deep roots. You're going to be you're proposing to put a roadway in that will excavate soil around those roots. What I'm concerned about, considering the proximity of those very large trees, is maintaining the stability of those trees, those very large trees, in close proximity to our home. As to whether they will become destabilized and whether they will become potentially ruined, dead, died because of an excavator going in and digging around or digging at or digging on its roots. Is that a consideration?
Rebecca, how far away from the trunk of those trees will there be excavation? Do you have any idea, ballpark?
I was trying to get that measurement, and he didn't talk long enough. 1 second.
Because the plan you showed that reflected the placement of the road across from South Drive looked like it was right up against them. Because the road goes in between.
Well, if you look at the screen, the ones to the left side of the screen, those red ones are being removed.
Those are even larger, yeah.
But it's the right side, right at the property line.
So the roadway is 17 feet away, right here. So where the depth is going to be greatest at the road, not the grading for the swale, will be 17 feet away from that tree, those trees.
All right, but then you have the swale.
The swale is surface grading. It's just reshaping the top 18 inches or so.
I'm sorry, could you repeat yourself?
It's grading that actually will only interfere with the first 18 to 24 inches as we change the grades along the way. They don't touch the deep root systems.
And there's no chance. It just looks like they're right on the property line, some of them, the way you have this plan, the circles that I see.
Those are existing, though.
That's what I'm talking about, are the existing ones that I'm concerned about. So if you look at the title Moxie Way, if you look at the circle that is under the O and the X and the E, those two, they're right on the property line, are they not?
They are.
Based on
They're close to the property line, and it's about 17, 18 feet to the actual Moxie Way roadway. And in between, there'd be a shallow swale, which is, as Rebecca just said, 18 to 24 inch is all that's going to be scraped in there in order to create the swale.
Okay. They can't be on the property line because there's more space than that between our property line and the existing access way to the back of the current house down to its barn. I don't know where that would be. That would probably be lot 1 and lot 2. So there's no plan in taking down these trees. I'm very concerned that I'm gonna have a maple tree into our house because of this construction. So that's one consideration I'd like you to take into this approval. And the other one is, you keep on talking about concerns on South Drive and South Street and this new Moxie Way. There's a school that's only 5 houses up north of Moxie Way. And the traffic going to that school and leaving that school on a daily basis during the school calendar year stops traffic, totally stops traffic for at least a half an hour, if not an hour. And it backs it up in both directions, both going south and going north. Is there any consideration in putting in lights to assist the traffic flow? Because you have a lot of children on the sidewalks, you have a lot of parents lining up with kids in their car. This putting another road with more traffic, more need to access or egress that new road is just going to make the situation even worse. Is there any consideration in putting in lights, traffic lights? Because now you have South Drive, South Street, and you're going to add Moxie Way to the flow.
Mr. Chairman, do you want me to address on that?
I know we don't. I mean, there are no plans for streetlights, no, at this point.
And no consideration at all towards that possibility. It's just you seemed all concerned about the South Drive and the width of the opening coming out of Moxie Way or entering in Moxie Way, but there's going to be an impact on traffic. Even if there's only 3 houses there, there still will be. Just something else to think about. And I think one final question. What is the easement for?
Which easement are you referencing?
The one that you were talking about that's, I don't know what the easement is for that you were talking about.
There's two easements that I asked. One is around the roadway that is.
Oh, this is about the water impact.
Out in the rear of lot 3, there's a drainage easement E. But I think if there's a drainage easement E, it should connect some way out to the right of way, so that if it is needed for the subdivision calculations, it can be accessed and maintained by the HOA.
So
that was my question.
Okay, you had for lot 3.
Correct, and there's also an easement around the proposed cul-de-sac and right of way that was a drainage easement as well. But I asked that be added to be a drainage and tree easement.
Okay, because we're naturally concerned about water runoff. And if you're adding impervious surface, which I believe is the asphalt drive, is the road not going to be asphalt?
The road is asphalt. The 16 feet of the road is asphalt, yes.
Okay, so there will not be, there will be water runoff. Where is that water going?
Well, they went through the drainage, and that's why the swales are on the side of the road, and that's why there's basin A and B, and that's why there's also a swale in the rear of lot 3 or a drainage basin in the real lot 3?
So the drainage basin will be the catch basin for this, for the road? Is that what you're telling me?
There will be less runoff going directly towards your property because it's being intercepted and brought into a northeast direction.
Okay, so the 100-year storm that you were referring to won't have a negative impact on that basin and the runoff? I don't know whoever wants to try and answer that.
So we did have a drainage analysis done and reviewed by our town engineer, Mr. Tanzi. And he did confirm that, and Mr. Tanzi, you can step in, that it does meet the requirements. There's less runoff and less volume of runoff. We call 90% pre and post. So there's less runoff after the development than prior to.
Well, we've never had any runoff, so that's why I'm asking. Not from that direction. Not from north of our property. The only runoff we've ever had is from the south side. Any questions, Bill? So you're saying there will not be any negative impact to the existing very large trees along the property line, and there is no intention of removing any of those trees?
And somebody from Silva's team answer
That's
that?
correct.
Love you to remove them, Larry.
I thought you wanted to protect them. Now you want them removed?
Oh, I never wanted to protect them. They scared the bejesus out of me.
Oh,
They're huge.
I thought you had your arms around them, and now you're telling me you want them to go.
No, we just had 6 trees taken down in our yard. No, we had the elm at the front of our yard down. No,
That
Big
should solve all
trees.
your problems.
big trees and big limbs that have come down and pulled out the wires in our house scare me. And I don't want one falling and crushing the side of our house because a road is going in.
Well, let me say this. Those 5 trees are on the project side. So there'll be no discussion if there was ever an issue with those trees as to whether or not whose responsibility it is to deal with them.
Fair. All right, any other, Mrs. LaFever, any other questions at this point?
Not at this point, thank you.
Is there anybody else from the public that wishes to speak? All right, so we'll close public comment then. Mr. Brown? Any other board discussion or questions or?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I was muted, so I wasn't able to ask a question. So through you or to you, are the waivers proposed still going to be asked for?
Can you say that again?
Are the waivers, the 2 waivers that are proposed on this current site plan or this current subdivision, still being asked for?
Mr. Tanzi, do you still believe, I mean, Mr. Silva claims that the basin is not part of the subdivision and the alignment of streets is not relevant. Do you agree that those waivers should still be considered or not considered as waivers?
I believe that it probably would be prudent to consider the waiver for the alignment, just because it's not directly opposite. It's very close, but probably for future subdivisions and concerns about setting precedent, it might be prudent to entertain or require the waiver for the alignment. As far as the basin on lot 3 is concerned, it's required to meet the performance standards for the subdivision. So I'm not sure.
So how, if we require them to be 25 feet from the property line, how far is this basin based on the definition? How far is it from the property line? Is it 23? Is it 5? Is it, how far is it?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That was my next question.
Yeah.
Can Mr. Silva?
Mr. Silva can answer that question. I don't have the plan in front of me. I don't have a scale on the plan.
Rebecca
So
can give me that distance, but I want to say to you is that if you go back to the earlier discussions that we had, and the position that Greg had expressed was that these 1 to 4 lot subdivisions have been different than those that are for a greater number of lots. And I'll even go so far as to say, and I don't know if Rebecca, do you have that other handout that
I get that. It says we may waive them, but my question is
no. So what? No, but what I'm saying is, in other subdivisions of this size, you've had drainage that is right on property lines. You've had them that they're in the cul-de-sac. That has not been a consideration on these 1 to 4s in the past.
But my question is how far is the drainage basin from the lot line?
Well, how about we look at one that you've already approved with 1 or 4 lots and the detention basin is right on the property line?
It's on the property line. Beaver Brook.
And no waiver from Jenny drainage was requested because it was 1 or 4 or fewer lots. And strict compliance isn't encouraged per se on a 4 or fewer lot subdivision.
And there are other ones that they're in the cul-de-sac itself.
How far is the drainage basin from the lot line?
6 feet.
How many feet?
The toe of the slope, 6 feet.
How many feet?
6.
6.
And on Beaver Brook, it's on the line. On the other ones are in there that didn't even ask for waivers. Some of them are in the cul-de-sac. So there's no separation. So we're not criticizing the other ones that are there. I'm just saying
when you say in the cul-de-sac, but that's allowed, correct?
Yeah, but what we're saying is you're applying 2 different standards. You're trying to apply this drainage standard for full subdivisions to these 1 to 4 lots, and that's not what was being done as the standard for those 1 to 4 lot subdivisions in the past. All of a sudden
I'm not saying we're for or against it, but what it says and I think we have to consider each site. What there are environmental concerns and things here, and however, but the regulations say in 1 to 4 lot subdivisions we may waive strict compliance.
Right, and what I'm saying is you have done that to a significant level in other subdivisions, and this here is in a lot development for lot 3, which may not even be a basin at that time. When the house gets built there, they may just put it all in chambers. Maybe we should have just showed it in chambers. And then, because we're giving you a scenario, we're not telling you what it's ultimately going to be on that lot, because it's more related to house development than it is for subdivision development. That's all I'm saying.
But
if you look at those other ones,
and just so I better understand it, though, any change in that would require an update to the stormwater calculations, correct?
Correct.
Well, I mean, when lot 3 is developed. Yeah, I mean, you can make that a condition that if it.
What I'm saying is whether or not lot 3 is developed. Either way, if you don't follow the drainage basin as designed in the calcs, you would have to redo the calcs and come in for a modification, correct?
Well, I don't know. It all depends on whether or not you feel as though conservation is handling what's happening with lot 3 and it's not really part of the subdivision.
But it's part of the, and this is where we keep saying that, but Greg, it is part of the subdivision drainage, correct?
Yes. Yeah, and lot 3 is part of the subdivision. It has frontage off the subdivision road.
So any changes have to go for a modification.
Any change in what's being shown, you're saying for lot 3 would have to come back to the planning board as a, could we use the term minor modification? So we're not into
Well, I
any
think
more
that,
than what it
I
really
think
needs
that's,
to be?
I mean, we have to determine that in the hearing, so let's not talk about that now.
Yeah.
Mr.
Depends on what the
Johnson,
modification is, so, all right.
Mr.
Any other board questions or comments? You know, the other thing I would say, Larry, is that these other neighborhoods, I don't think any of them had half-acre lots, though. They all appear to be, you know, much more rural, much more, you know, Mansion Way, Hampton Avenue, Beaver Brook, Chestnut Mar, Old Stable all had 1+ acre lots, correct? I mean, I know you're allowed a half acre, but just for comparison, right?
Well, I mean, this gets back to when we had the discussion about a 16-foot wide road. You guys make the rules. We're just designing to the rules. So, you know, in the future, if you want to make that distinction, then you kind of have to make that distinction in your rules for it not to be something that you're concerned about later. Because I mean, I heard all the discussion about how you may not feel as though 16 feet is what you really want it to be from the fire department's point of view, but that's what you actually have it at this point. So maybe it's something to footnote to say, maybe in the future you make some other changes to this regulation.
Any other board members, or what do we want to do? How do people feel about the waivers on the board?
Well, coming from the old school, let's just say that. For these smaller subdivisions, 1 to 4, whatever they are, the rules have been relaxed for those very reasons. And we realize that everything is going to be a little bit smaller and a little bit different because these are not full tracts of land. Along those lines, where they have been relaxed, it's difficult then to sit here and consider more because we've already given them up front. If you can understand, I'm sure you can understand that. So not having input into all those subdivisions that you have mentioned, my original thought process on this 1 to 4 lot subdivision was that those relaxed rules were given up front. Now you have to be fairly strict at what you do. You've just brought up the fact that all of these things have been allowed many times before. So that does go into my consideration. But I will have to say that I think they stand on their own merit and they should not be altered very much from there.
Anybody else? Dan, okay, Chris, John?
You know, I agree with Tom, and I understand it. I think to the point that Larry made as well is like I don't think we like the road width and the things that are on the rules at this point. I think what we're really at is whether or not the third lot, you know, it would work, or maybe we need to look at 2. And I think you're looking at the nitrogen calculations, and I think that's your issue. So, you know, are they not willing to maybe make some alterations on lot 3?
Dan, you have any comments? So you want to just?
Yep. And I think I mentioned this a couple meetings ago, but I don't really have any issue with, you know, the alignment of the road, so I'm perfectly fine with the waiver there. I think, you know, they did a good job now with the road width, and I think we do have other examples in town where, there are similar situations, although, maybe they were built in the 70s or in a different time period where rules were different. But yeah, I think it really comes down to, whether we're going 2, 3 lots. That's more the issue here for me.
Yeah. Anything to add, Mr. Silver, or before we decide how to move forward here?
I mean, I guess I really don't see the board reducing the number of lots because it lends itself, it meets the rules to have that number of lots. If you want to make it such that that lot, you have to come in for, as you talked about, coming in for any kind of modification to it when it goes to be developed. I mean, I think that's reasonable kind of stipulation to put on there. But I mean, but to say that you want to go to a 2-lot subdivision and have all that infrastructure cost to do that, it'd be one thing if the existing house was able to be taken out of the equation. That's a whole different thing. But we've already gone down that road, and we were told that we would not be able to have that house released from an approval. And that kind of changes the economics significantly in terms of how this works. I mean, my clients are trying to help out the woman that owns that house, and I know that's not the board's business or it shouldn't be their consideration, but they're just trying to do something that's the right thing. And this is becoming a real burden for them to not have, for somebody to be talking about removing one of the lots.
So Larry, just to help me better understand Lot 3 and the waiver request. So you mentioned all these other neighborhoods that have infrastructure within 25 feet of a property line. This particular structure also has an outfall, though, correct?
This one has a what, please?
Has an outfall?
Yeah.
How far is the outfall from the property line?
Well, the ultimate outfall is the wetland system that goes through the property.
25 feet.
No. The outfall on the drainage basin on Lot 3. I mean, I'm more concerned about abutting properties. I mean, and that's why the waiver. So I don't remember these other subdivisions having outfalls that close to a property line. How close is the outfall to the property line?
25 feet.
25.
So the outfall is 25 feet, which meets the regulation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other board comments or questions? Mrs. LaFavor, are you trying to say something, or
Yes, I was.
well, we closed the public comment, but go ahead go ahead.
I'm concerned about Lot 3. Still, the condition, you're saying if lots 1 and 2 are developed and then Lot 3 has a condition that needs to be met to build on, how are you going to go back to lot owners 1 and 2 and tell them they have to take care of the condition to build a house on lot 3? Because isn't that what you're saying? That if lot 3 is not, well, it's not going to be built at the same time as 1 and 2, a condition has to be met as far as drainage. I think that's what you've been going back and forth on. And that needs to be met before lot 3 can be developed. And it's going to impact lots 1 and 2, or the owners of what 1 and 2. Does that
I'm
mean?
not going to speak for the applicant, but I think if they don't build lot 3, they'll probably modify the drainage like Mrs. Baptiste said, and they'll do something different. But typically we don't release lots until the drainage is put in and satisfied. So they would have to meet their drainage build out requirements before we release any lots anyway. I mean, they have to get the infrastructure and the drainage in before we release lots.
And that includes all 3 lots.
Well, if they don't develop lot 3, that's what we were saying, they would have to come back in for a modification and demonstrate they don't need that basin or come up with an alternative design for
Okay.
the subdivision to meet
I-
the
I-
requirements.
I have one other statement more than a question. All of you seem to be going back and forth about the current state of our regulations governing size of lots and conditions for builds on lots. If it's insufficient and you're saying it's insufficient, the current regulations, why not change them?
Well, we can, but we can't change them while we have a project before us. And I think,
No, I realize that.
and,
but
and I
why-
and I think honestly, I think the regulations sometimes do a lot of good. I mean, if you look at Hampton Avenue, for example, and I didn't sit in on that hearing, but I think that was something like 11 acres, and it could have been more houses or it could have been denser. And because they had the option to do a 4-lot subdivision, because of a reduced cost and a reduced infrastructure, they did it. So it was less impactful to the town. There were less houses developed. So the idea of these 1 to 4-lot subdivisions is it gives somebody an alternative to build less infrastructure, but also get less density. So it's a trade-off. But in this case, and in this case, it probably maximized the site. I mean, I don't know if they had to follow the standard regulations if they could develop this or not. They may be able to get 2 lots out of it. I'm not sure, but it would be a higher threshold to meet the drainage requirements and things like that. So I think it has done a lot of good in town because it has created opportunities to build smaller neighborhoods where bigger neighborhoods may have been. But I think we have some new members on here like Mr. Fabrowski and Mr. Pratty and Mr. Greenberg that have some knowledge that, we probably should increase the pavement width and things of that nature. So,
Yeah, because it sounds like you have different perspectives as to what would be a better way to deal with the amount of land available to build houses on as far as lot size, because they're very small lots. And 4-bedroom houses on very small lots with a private septic and a private well is, I think, pushing the limit. That's all.
well, and that's why I think
Just
in
an
reading,
observation.
in reading the Title V regulation, and not knowing that much about it, to be honest with you, we probably should have had a nitrogen loading aggregation plan done prior to it coming to the planning board. It does ultimately have to get approved by, I think, the EP and the Board of Health, but I think that we could make that if we did go forward, we could make it a condition that we do receive a copy of it prior to lot release. So.
And
We don't approve that, but we could request it.
nothing against the possibility of generating some income for my neighbor who's 91. Certainly nothing against that. It's just the amount of houses trying to be put in the backyard of her property is surprising, to say the least. Thank you.
So have you had and I don't know, Mr. Silva, has Concom, have the hearings been opened on this, on lot 3 yet?
No,
Not lot 3, right, Rebecca?
no,
Yeah, so the abutters will have the opportunity to go and speak for or against and raise concerns about lot 3. And if the Concom denies it or makes them do wetland replication or something else, then, that may not be a viable lot, so.
We've spoken with conservation. We participated in one of their meetings. They haven't had one for quite a while, so we'll see. I don't deal with just you. I haven't picked just on planning board.
Okay, are you all set, Mr. LaFever?
I am. I appreciate the time.
Thank you. Anybody else? Planning board, public, anybody?
Okay.
Okay. What does the board want to do? Do we want to close the public hearing? Do we want to keep it open? Does somebody want to make a motion? What do we want to do?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Mr. Praddy, do we have a second?
I'll second.
By Dan Greenberg, or Mr. Greenberg, I'm sorry. Any discussion? All right, so there are four of us here still, right? No one else has joined Mr. McDonald or Mr. Geller, correct? They're not here? Is that correct? I can't.
Correct.
And just moving, just so I know, because I don't keep track of the Mullen Rule and attendance and everything else, but the four of you that have been here for all these hearings on this subdivision? Or
That
have
is
done
correct.
all of them?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so I'll take the roll. Mr. Fabrowski,
Yes.
Mr. Greenberg,
Yes.
Mr. Praddy,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. So the public hearing is closed. Okay. So, what do we want to do now? Do we want to discuss it? I mean, Mr. O'Brien worked on a preliminary decision letter. Do you want to discuss it tonight? Do you want to discuss it and approve it tonight? Do you want to discuss it? Do you want me to rewrite the decision letter that's floating around here somewhere, and then then vote on it? Or what's the will of the board? What are the, do we want to deliberate now? I'm open to anything, so. Can everybody hear me and you just quiet?
Yeah, just quiet. I think, Mr. Chairman, I think we should deliberate and take a look at the conditions and make sure they're adequate.
Okay.
Yeah, I hate dragging it out because we have, continued this for a number of days.
Yeah,
but
no,
but I agree with Mr.
We-
Praddy. I think we need to deliberate on the conditions now that we've
We
gotten this
appreciate you
far.
including us, Mr. Chairman.
I hope I always include you. I talk too much though. All right, so let's talk about the waivers. What are we thinking about the waivers? Any questions from Mr. Tanzi on the waivers?
I agree with Mr. Tansey that I think that with the road crossing, we should give it a waiver if we're going to move forward with that. To set the precedent going forward, which I'm fine with giving a waiver on that.
Correct.
I agree 100%. There should be a waiver, but I have no problem giving them the waiver.
Okay. What about the drainage basin on lot 3? Do we feel we need a waiver there, or do we not need a waiver there?
I know it hasn't been asked for in the past. But Mr. Silva did ask for it, so I have no problem granting it based on previous decisions.
But I just want to make it clear because, this stuff comes back to, and engineers that get something approved sometime, we always get stuff thrown back in our face, right? So,
Right.
so I think every project has to stand on its own merit, as you said, Mr. Praddy, right?
That is correct.
And if there are no adverse impacts, and this is a 1 to 4 lot subdivision, I don't want other subdivisions to come back after 4 lots and say, oh, we don't need to put it because you did it on this one. I mean, I think we're making it very clear that this is because it's under the rural subdivision regulation, 1 to 4 lots. That if we consider it, that's made crystal clear, you know what I mean? And because there are other subdivisions where we've held them to it that aren't built out yet. It needs to be very clear that this is a 1 to 4 lot subdivision allowance, and that's where we're at.
That is correct.
Yeah, I think that's well said. I think you want to set that precedent for sure. You don't want to, conflate that with larger subdivisions for sure.
Okay. So what do we, so Mr. O'Brien put together a decision letter. So first of all, we need a number of things before I can go forward. Lot 3 will be subject to Concom approval.
The drainage easement.
We're gonna need an HOA. So I guess one question I have though is, and Mr. Tanzi, do you think, I mean, I think, we asked the applicant to add a tree planting easement to the drainage easement, but do you also think that the easement, or there should be some sort of an easement connecting the basin on lot 3 to the street so that can be maintained? I mean, if that is part of the subdivision, the HOA needs to maintain that or make sure the owner's maintaining it. If they don't step in, they need to be able to access that. Do you think that makes sense?
Absolutely.
So we have to
Absolutely.
ask for the easement to extend to the cul-de-sac?
Yes. I mean, it could go down the driveway is probably the practical way to access it.
Okay.
And
And
is it fair to?
we need an HOA prior to any lot release on all 4 lots.
My question is it fair to put that burden on the owner of that lot to maintain that basin?
Well, we'd have the HOA maintain it. That's why if it's part of the subdivision and part of the calcs, we'd have the HOA maintain it, right? So we'd have
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it's been floated a little bit that that's another potential.
So Dan, do you think that should be the owner's responsibility or the HOA's?
I think it should be the HOA's. I don't think that should fall on one particular lot.
Okay.
Although they abut it and it's in their lot.
All right. They'll have to have the HOA established prior to any lot release with responsibilities. The road will have to maintain private in perpetuity. A site plan for each lot prepared, signed by a mass registered engineer will have to come for each lot prior to a building permit. Typical decisions. So Shane put item 33 he had in the draft decision letter. He said the applicant shall meet the Title V requirements and provide information of nitrogen loading as part of each individual deed. So I would like to see the nitrogen loading plan for the 4 lots, the nitrogen aggregation plan. I think that needs to be submitted to the Board of Health and the DEP or whoever it goes to and approved prior to any lot release. And that we get a copy of it, just so we get a copy of it prior to lot release, so we know that that's been addressed. It came up, it wasn't done prior to the meeting, so even though we don't approve it, we just ask for a copy of it to make sure it's done before we release any lots. Yes, no?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yes.
And going forward, we should probably request that in the beginning.
A tree, Mr. O'Brien mentioned that tree protection, preservation, and a tree easement shall be provided along the southerly side of the property adjacent to the stone wall. So I believe that's where Mrs. LaFavor was talking about the large trees that were shown. We'll have to condition lot 3 that it goes to Concom, etc. What else?
But they were going to open up the entrance a little bigger in the mouth.
So increase the opening. Lot 3 easement. Easement to be modified for tree and drainage planting, right? Greg, the plan shows existing driveway openings being closed up and repaired per the town standard already. We don't need to condition that, correct?
Could you repeat that again?
So there's two driveway openings on South Street. Those are being closed up.
Oh, right.
Should we add that they have to be closed with granite per the town standard, or?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I would recommend that. Yes. Yep. Yeah, there's a sidewalk there too that they should make sure that they restore that per ADA, per town standards.
I assume that's what Rebecca is showing us on the screen there. Is that her?
Yes, that's Rebecca.
Lisa, could you put that a little softer?
Okay, anything else that we can think of? No?
Nope.
No.
I'm good.
All right. I mean, I know we don't have Shane here now, so what I can do is Steve, do you have what he did here in Word? Do we have access to what he did?
I'm waiting for the IT department to give me his drive. So I don't have his.
Because if we could just amend, he has all the standard conditions about meeting Concom and all that stuff and all the boards and committees. That would be a lot easier to clean this up. So just back to the nitrogen loading. So should we be asking Greg for the nitrogen loading aggregation plan as well? Or should I just put they need to meet the requirements of nitrogen loading and provide the deed restrictions and plans?
I think we should have a nitrogen aggregation loading plan.
Okay.
I'll review the
Because
the
I
title.
did talk to Mr. Antonero about it today, and he said that it does have to be done right, and each lot does have to be deed restricted because he said for the Board of Health of the town to keep track of it after that it's just too difficult. So he felt we needed a strong condition on that.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I was looking at is so lot 3 has 60,000 square feet of land in it. Technically, the owner could put a 6-bedroom house there, and if they did,
But they can't if that's being used, and that's the thing. Like
if it's restricted, then they can't. So that's why it has to be, it has to be restricted.
right. And it's interesting because we've approved other one of the neighborhoods I'm thinking of in particular, they're all 18,500 square feet. I don't know how they're gonna. I don't. We'll have to look at that before they start building on those other lots to make sure that we have nitrogen loading plans, or they use alternative systems, or before we issue any planning board.
And they're all on septic.
There's a couple neighborhoods I can think of. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else that we can think of, guys?
Nope.
So going into this, I didn't want to grant waivers, Mr. Tanzi and Mr. Solari, but Mr. Tanzi, you feel that these really aren't waivers. You feel that it's good to have them listed as waivers, but in your opinion, they're really not waivers. Is that correct?
Correct. You know, the detention basin, yeah, it's a couple of feet off the property line. It's pretty much in accord with what we've approved otherwise elsewhere. Plus, the parcel of land that abuts that, I mean, that's a rural wooded area. I think that's the senior center.
The town, too.
Yeah, I think it's the senior center. I mean, it's not going to, that area there is not going to be developed. They might put a walking path through there or something, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to impact the community adversely. So, but I mean, for precedent sake, I think you're doing the right thing to cover yourself by requesting the waiver and then acting upon it.
All right. Anything else that you guys can think of?
None here.
None here.
All good.
So, I mean, I can write it up, hitting all those. Shane usually writes it up, but I can write it. I can work with Mr. Solari to write up the decision letter and circulate it to everybody before I sign it, so you guys can all see it. Make sure we captured all these conditions.
Okay.
And if we haven't, you can let me know and we can update it before I sign it. I mean, just so we comply with open meeting law, you can give the feedback to Mr. Solari and then we can update it. All right, so does anybody want to make a motion? If there's no more discussion, does anybody want to make a motion on the project with the standard conditions and the conditions we discussed and the conditions Mr. O'Brien circulated?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the plan as stipulated.
With the,
With it,
capturing the discussion items today.
absolutely, and conditions, etc.
To Mr. Pratty, is there a second?
I will second.
Mr. Greenberg? Is there any discussion? So I'll take the roll. Mr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Pratty?
Yes.
Mr. Fabrowski?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so 4-0. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
All right, hold on, Jane.
Okay.
Let's see. All right, so moving on to item 2, we have 680 Bedford Street. This is a modification request. We originally approved this project in November of 2024. We opened this hearing and it was continued since June 3rd. Mr. Solari, the applicant, Mr. Bernard, did reach out to you yesterday, correct? And ask for continuation
He did. He asked me for a continuation.
until our next meeting,
Correct.
which is August 5th. Is that correct?
It is.
Okay. Are we sure that's on? I don't have the calendar in front of me. Usually Shane has the meeting. Are we sure that's the date, August 5th? Mr. Solari?
It is August 5th.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
The next planning board meeting is August 5th, and we have somebody with their hand raised.
Oh, go ahead.
Adam
Mr. Hanson, go
Hansen.
ahead.
Yes, I'd like to do Adam Hansen, 25 Swift Avenue. I'd just like to make a request. I know the last meeting, some business was at the very beginning of the meeting, announced as continuance. This was not. I think it was a couple hours into the meeting that we found out that prior to the meeting, Mr. Bernard had requested a continuance. Can I request that the board, announce that at the beginning as part of the protocol to just.
Yeah, and I apologize. We did do that at the last meeting, but I didn't even. We will do that at the next meeting. Yes.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
All right, so do we have a motion to continue this to 8/5 per the applicant's request?
I'll make
Mr.
a
Hanson,
motion.
Mr. Hanson, are you all set? Are your hands still up?
Yes, sorry. There we go.
All right, so do we have a motion to continue this to August 5th?
So moved.
Is that Mr. Greenberg? Do you have a second?
Second.
By Mr. Praddy. I'll take the roll. Mr. Fabrowski,
Yes.
Mr. Praddy,
Yes.
Mr. Greenberg.
Yes.
I'm a yes. Okay. Thank you. All right, so we do have another modification request for 292 Bedford Street. This was the project that was approved on May 6th, 2026. Is the applicant here by any chance?
Yes, Steve LaBelle.
How you doing, Mr. LaBelle?
Good, and yourself?
Thank you. So, I know you have submitted plans that, Mr. Tanzi, you have reviewed these for a water connection for this site. Is that correct, Mr. Tanzi?
Yeah, the plans came to me through the CED, so I reviewed the plan.
So we did receive, I did reach out just before we acted on this. I reached out to Mr. Antonero and the DPW division. And Mr. Antonero wrote that the planning board's approval of the site at 292 Bedford Street includes the condition that the site development must include an on-site potable water well that would support the project. He said this condition for on-site potable water is an integral component to the town's current strategy for stabilizing the public water supply. The project is not covered by the exception clause of the recent water connection moratorium voted by the council. We strongly and unequivocally urge the planning board to keep in place the condition that requires the on-site potable water for the project and deny the so-called minor modification. I'm aware that the Water Division of the DPW inadvertently received accepted water connection application fee from the applicant based on the uncorroborated information. The connection application fee is being returned. No water connection permit will be issued for the location. Thank you. Regards, Sue Antonero. So I'm fine considering a minor modification request once we have the okay from the water department. So I don't know if you want to circle back with them.
Well, I'd like to speak, if you don't mind. And
Sure,
quite honestly, this hearing is to consider simply, is this a minor modification or a major modification? That is the only jurisdiction the planning board has at this time. That's the only thing it's in front of you for. And there are a lot of moving pieces here. I'll give you a quick background. We had a meeting. You were the chairman. You asked me if I would commit to tying in to town water if water was available prior, if and when water became available. My comment was straightforward. I committed that as long as the water was available before I put a well in. I did receive a tie-in permit from the town. They did cash my check. City councilmen or city councilors are fully aware of this, and they have requested that the town do something to make this right. A zoo is really overstepping here. It's not within his jurisdiction to take on legal notices. And quite honestly, the other thing that kind of fries me a little bit is that there are only three. First off, I'll step back. The town went to the DEP. They were issued a state of emergency by the local DEP office, which simply says there's no outside water use, can't fill pools, wash cars, water your grass, that stuff. There's nothing in the DEP regs that give the town permission to have a moratorium. The town did openly admit to having a de facto moratorium, which is illegal. The town, back on June 30th, town council voted in to apply for a water moratorium at the Boston DEP office, which has of this moment in time, I don't think has been approved by the DEP. The town cannot restrict water tie-ins. What they did was extremely illegal by having a de facto water moratorium, which they openly admitted to in public meeting. And like I started this meeting, we are only here for the board to determine if this is a minor or major modification.
And and we can get legal opinion. I don't know if we put the town in a bad situation if we vote for a major or minor. And I would like to get that clarification. We do have.
I don't mean to interrupt and be difficult, but I've been sitting here for 2 hours. I requested this hearing to be taken going back on June 3rd is when we initially went into Shane to do this. I was issued my water tie-in permit on June 2nd, and it's taken this long to get in front of you. Quite honestly, I don't see any reason why you can't vote whether this is a minor or major modification. This is actually an administrative action that shouldn't even be here.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I just we requested, and if we did receive a favorable,
you're not voting to in favor or not in favor. You're voting, is this major or minor? And quite honestly, I don't want to go around and round.
And Mr. Lavelle, I don't know how that affects us legally. I don't know. I mean, personally,
quite honestly, then the town should have addressed this. You've known that I was going to be on the agenda. A zoo has known. I saw a zoo today, and now he knows that the city or town council has gone to the town administrator and said they got to resolve. You guys got to resolve this. I'm just telling you, every delay from this point forward has a financial burden to me, which I am going to file suit against the town. So if you want to delay this, just remember this rests on your shoulders. And
when we have the DPW ask us not to act on it, I think that we need to get some.
How can you? But you're not acting on anything other than, is this minor or major? We all know it's a minor modification. We know that. So to make me even come here is causing a delay.
I don't know what position. If we vote, I would agree that if the town said you were allowed to tie into water, this would be a minor modification. But I'm uncomfortable making that determination tonight, not knowing what ramifications that could have on the town side.
Well,
we just received this correspondence this morning, so
I think you have to make this decision. I think you do have to. You just said you agree. I would like to continue it out to the April 5th meeting to determine how we handle it. So the
August 5th, yeah.
Well, I really don't want to do that. So if you're telling me that you're forcing my hand, we're going to end up in litigation. I'm just letting you know that. And you guys cashed my check 7 months ago.
It's a different department. I'm not.
You're right. You're 100% right. And you're the chairman of this department. You cannot continue to listen to every department. You have to do what is under your purview. And this is what is for you. A zoo can say whatever he wants. If he tells you to jump off a bridge, whatever he tells you, you don't have to do. This is not his jurisdiction. I'm asking, is this a minor or major modification? That's what you're voting on.
And I think we need to determine, I think we need legal opinion from that based on the
I'm
correspondence.
asking, so you're telling me you need legal opinion if this is a minor or major modification?
Mr. LaBelle, thank you. We got it. So any board comments on this, how we want to proceed?
I asked you a question. Can you answer me?
Mr. LaBelle, I told you we need to get more clarification.
I'm asking you, what do you need clarification on?
How it would impact the town if we vote in favor or against a minor or major modification.
You're not voting in favor. Your voting has to, which it is.
And I don't know yet without talking to the town.
Mr. Chairman, you're putting yourself personally, you've really overextended.
Mr. LaBelle, that's fine. I need more clarification. We just got this response today. The DPW is asking us not to act on it. I'm going to request it until we get more information, and we'll take it up in the next meeting.
I'd like to hear what the other board members have to say.
That's fine. Any other board comments?
I think I'm completely in agreement and alignment with the chairman. This is Mr. Greenberg, sorry. And I think we do need to listen to what the DPW is saying right now, and that is, something we need to take into consideration. We do need to look at our legal counsel too and see what their opinions are.
I could not vote in favor of a minor modification without the DPW approving the tie-in myself. So,
well, would you like me to send you or put on the screen a copy of the approved tie-in? And the canceled check? It's okay for the town to have my money all this time and you to keep delaying me?
Any other board comment?
Mr. LaBelle, I understand your frustration, and I understand you're trying to move your project forward. We're in uncharted waters with the water connection thing. I think we're trying to help you and try to figure out how to make this work.
And I think we all agree, like KJ, that this project is better served with town water, but we don't have the authority to approve that. And I don't know how a minor.
And I understand that. I think you're doing the right thing by following the guidelines you were given. But I understand, and it just, we're in a situation that we haven't been in before, and we're going to try to help resolve it.
Well, I appreciate the fact that you're trying to, help resolve it, but I don't understand, Mr. Chairman, why I am here asking for a minor or a major modification when in fact, I think in 9 out of 10 towns and cities in the state, this would be an administrative action. I wouldn't even be here. And at this point, it's not your board's decision whether to issue water or not issue water. It's just your board's decision, so that when the final plan is signed off on, you have a correct copy.
Mr. LaBelle, it's before us now, and we're being asked to hold off on it by the town. And that's how I want to move forward. And if the board wants to move in a different direction, they can vote against me. But right now, we have correspondence from the DPW director as of this morning asking us to not change the plan. And that's where we stand now. And if I were to vote on anything tonight, I'd vote no. So I think we're trying to work with you and get more clarification on how if we vote it's a major or minor, how that affects the town and what position that puts the town in.
Mr. Chairman, this is Mr. Pratti. I completely agree with everything the board has said. I think we need to wait, and I think we need to delay this to the August 5th meeting.
So, gentlemen, that's great, and we'll be filing a lawsuit tomorrow against the town, and just letting you know it's coming.
You do, Mr. LaBelle, you do what you have to do when
I am gonna, believe me, we're going in for a $9 million lawsuit. So I'm just letting you know, Mr. Chairman, I want you to remember, you asked me if I would commit to tying in, and I said I would. Now
And
you
Mr. LaBelle, I said to you, I think this is, I think I would like to see you tie in. I think this project is better served tied in.
and I agree with you, but I just don't understand why
but we have,
somebody in this. I think here's the problem: you have people in your town that just want to pass the buck. Nobody has the guts to make a decision. People don't know how to read a law, and it currently, Steve Solari has a building inspector. I think he could probably let you gentlemen know that the way that the moratorium is read is that it started on June 30th.
and listen, if you get approval from, this is just me, not the board, but if you get approval for a water connection from the water department, I will happily vote to support a minor modification. But we
So
don't.
can I ask, this will be my last question, Mr. Chair. When you say if I get approval, what would you like for an approval? Because what I have is a signed document with money has transferred hands, a good faith agreement, a legal binding contract. What else do you want me to give you to show?
I mean, that's between you and the water department.
Well, you just said that you want me to show you that I have a tie-in permit. I have it. So where do I go from here?
All right, do we have a motion to continue this? Did somebody make a motion?
I'll make that motion, continue this hearing until August 5th.
So Mr. Pratty, do we have a second?
Second.
And Mr. Greenberg? Any discussion? Mr. Pratty?
Yes.
Mr. Fabrowski?
Yes.
Mr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So we'll try to get more information, and once we have more information, we'll discuss it on the August 5th meeting. Thank you, Mr. Lowell. All right. So going forward, item 3, 1010 Elm Street. This is a public hearing. This is continued. This is a site plan review for 10.6 for the construction of a 27,000 square foot commercial building with parking and other improvements. Is there anybody here from the development team? And we don't have any continuation requests, Mr. Solari, right?
Again, and I apologize for this because as everyone knows, we're doing the new change. So I personally do not have a continuation on this. I would have to go through Shane.
Yeah, why don't we give the developer the benefit of the doubt? I mean, I think just because Mr. O'Brien's out, that letter could have gone to Mr. O'Brien or what. So if the board is comfortable, I mean, typically if we don't have a continuation request or something, we could just deny it and but they're not here, and Mr. O'Brien has left, and we're in this transition period.
I do know they have gone through conservation, and I think some fees were paid. So I know that process is going through. But I'll try to see what I can find tomorrow when I get some information from either the admin down in that office or through maybe getting his drive to see if I can find anything.
Under the situation, I think that's fair.
All right,
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to
what's the second meeting in August, Jane? Do you know what the second meeting is?
No, I do not.
Let me
When do you typically meet?
I'll pull it up.
The 19th.
So the 19th.
Okay, so it's the first and third.
So why don't we,
Wednesdays
if we
that
can,
meeting?
just because the 5th
is filling up.
Can we push this to the 8/19 if you guys are okay with that?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
All right, so we'll continue 1010 Elm Street to August 19th, 2026. That motion is by Mr. Pratty. Do a second.
Second.
Mr. Greenberg, any discussion?
None.
All right, Mr. Fabrowski?
Yes.
Mr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Pratty?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Okay. All right. Item 4, we have the street acceptance recommendation. So this is for Stonewall Place, Quail Run Road, and Oldfield Road. Mr. Tanzi, I know you said you submitted a letter to Nicole, in the planning office. That did not get forwarded to us. Do you have a copy of that, or do you want to review it with, kind of go over it with us? Because I don't want to hold this up any longer if you
Yeah.
have a review and.
Um, so yeah, I can read my letter into the record if that's
Well,
what
I
you
mean,
want.
I guess, so this is the first phase of Oldfield, and then this is the two cul-de-sacs off it, correct?
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
And I mean, you don't have to read the whole thing, but if you want to, I mean, unless the board wants, but you want to give us the cliff notes and your final recommendation?
Yeah. So the street acceptance documents were submitted to me, and it's the standard stuff. The meat and potatoes of it was a layout plan and a deed description of the layouts for each of the road. And I went through, I checked all that information, and it all checked out. Now, prior to that, about a year ago, I did a punch list inspection. It was pretty good. There's a few water gates that had been silted out. They cleaned out. The water department went out there and looked at the work. The highway department did, and I wrote my report, and they had completed the punch list. So right now, things all seem to be in order.
So are you, as the representative for DPW, recommending that we approve, or recommend approval, public way approval of these three private ways?
Yes.
Was this letter that you drafted, Mr. Tanzi, was this the July 9th letter? It was a pretty short letter, just a one-pager.
Yes. Yes.
I'm in receipt of it. I have
Did
a
I miss
copy of
it then? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I missed it.
Yeah, it was. I think it was
July
in the
9th. Yeah, very
July
short
9th.
letter.
Yeah, but I reviewed it and I saw everything else in the packet.
And Mr.
Some-
Tanzi, the year before you did a pretty thorough letter, I believe, correct?
Correct. Yeah,
And this
actually, there
summary letter. So
was a
if
couple of
Jane,
letters.
Jane, if you share your screen, Dan, do you mind putting that up so everybody can see it?
I'm on my phone.
Oh,
I have
all
a
right,
paper copy of it, so
All right, no,
I had
that's
some
all right,
connection
don't-
issues.
Greg, can you share it if Jane puts it up? If Jane gives you
Okay,
co-host?
I can make.
Well, I don't have access. You're talking.
All right, no, that's all right.
Well,
I mean,
which letter are you referring to?
So if you have it and Dan has it, and you're recommending approval after your review and all the bond money has been released, correct?
Correct.
All right. How does the board want to move forward? Do we want to recommend, based on Mr. Tanzi's analysis, recommend street acceptance? I did go out there again today and drive through. Mr. Tanzi, there does appear to be a few dead trees, but is there still a bond for tree replacement, I believe, a couple thousand?
I'm not sure about that. That does sound familiar.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, if you reviewed it twice, I'm fine with it. I don't know what the rest of the board thinks. So
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm comfortable, and I've driven through as well. And
okay. All right. So we have order FY 26-006-00-063 and -064. Is there a motion to favorably or unfavorably recommend?
I'll make that motion to favorably recommend street acceptance.
Okay. Any discussion? Any second? I'm sorry.
yep, I'll second.
Mr. Greenberg. Any discussion? All right. Mr. Proborowski,
Yes.
Mr. Greenberg,
Yes.
Mr. Praddy?
Yes.
No, yes. Okay. board and committee. So item 5, other business. So our next meeting is on August 5th. That's going to be Zoom. So August 5th, from this meeting, we're going to have 680 and 292 continued. And is there anything else on the agenda, Steve, that you can think of for August 5th?
Not since I've taken over the past 2 weeks.
Well, we have Mrs. Body's subdivision continued for them, but we haven't seen any updates, correct?
I have not received anything from Mrs. Bodies.
And that would have to be reviewed. So,
right.
If we had to, we could continue that. All right. So I believe, and then again, Mr. Solari and I can work to get the agenda updated. But I believe on the 5th we have Revelation Road. We have these two 680,
292.
And anything else that might come in. So
right. And if I do speak to Elm Street, I'll reach out to them about August 19th.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. All right. Is there any other discussion?
Nope.
So we have public comment. Is there anybody from the public that has anything to say or concerns? No. All right. Item 6, adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
By Mr. Praddy, do we have a second?
I will second.
Mr. Greenberg. Any discussion? I'd like to roll Mr. Farowski.
Yes.
Mr. Greenberg.
Yes.
Mr. Praddy.
Yes.
I'm a yes. So we're adjourned. Mr. Solari and Jane and Miss Brown, thank you very much. So
Thank you.
Jane, I think we're going to keep you. I think we'll keep you.
And Greg.
Good first meeting.
All right. And thank you.
I'll
thank
need a
you.
raise for that.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
All
everyone.
right.
Yes.
And
Thank you.
now I'm stopping the recording.
Yep, stop the recording.
All right. Have a good night, you guys. All
Thank
Good night.
you.
right.
Good night, everyone.